had a few messages over the last couple of weeks since what have you, just asking us about my foundation routine. Just asking for tips, asking for products that I use that I can recommend to people for different problems, skin that they have, or like my skin that's getting a little bit older now. So I thought the best thing to do is probably just show you everything that I use and show you how I use it, what I apply it with, what products are better for different types of skin, different looks. So bear with us, but I'll go through the products that I'm going to use, and if you've got any questions then you can ask us at the end. So the first product I would usually go in and use is Embryolisse moisturiser. It's multifunctional, so it gives a nice moisture boost to your skin, but it also gives a nice base for any foundation. So I usually put this on first just with my hands. Before I do that, I'll just spray my face with this Nip and Fab Hydrating Fix spray. It's Dragon's Blood Fix Essence Mist. Just gives a nice little bit of moisture to your skin, and then obviously when you put your moisturiser over the top, then it locks in that bit of moisture. That can also be used as a setting spray as well. I've never actually used it for night out makeup, so I don't know what the longevity is with it, but it gives me skin a nice little boost. My skin is, I've got quite problematic skin, so I used to have acne when I was younger. I still got a lot of breakouts around my jawline, nowhere near as bad as they were, but I've got a lot of scarring. I get quite open pores as well, which do get really congested, so I have to do a lot of masks, and I use a exfoliating cleanser every day. But I find this is lovely. It's non-greasy, but I put this on under any foundation that I'm using, whether it be a heavy one or a light one. So just take a dollop, put it on my fingers. Avoided the eyes there just because I've done a bit of a really basic eye, just so I can concentrate on the skin. So once that's all blended in, I'm going to now go in with the Becca Backlight Primer. You can see that very good at getting it in focus. This is fab. I use this with a lot of my makeups. Just gives a lovely illuminating glow underneath your foundation. It's really nice for bridal makeup. I'm just going to apply a bit to the back of my hand. Don't need much. And then I'll put that on with just a stippling brush. It's lovely for bases. I'm just going to apply that all over my face. You can also use this as a bit of a highlighter. So say you had put your foundation on and you just wanted to give yourself a bit of a sheen just in your cheekbones or your nose. You could apply this over the foundation before you put your powder on, but it's not massively, it doesn't give a lot of show. It's just really subtle, but it's nice just for doing that as well. I'm just going to sort of apply daytime makeup today just to show you. I don't know if you can see there in the camera that just gives me skin, it's just lifted it a little bit and it's not as flat, so it's quite a nice soft base for your foundation. I get a lot of dark circles under my eyes, so I'm firstly going to apply a little bit of this just in the dark circle, just in the corners, nothing too heavy. This is shade Lemon, number 1 in the Lasting Perfection. It's just Collection 2000s, really quite cheap, just from Superdrug. It just sort of balances out the purple tones. If you have any anywhere, people get them a lot around their noses, and obviously a lot under their eyes. So I'm just going to apply a little bit of this, just literally to my dark circles. And I'm just going to leave that, sounds like stupid, but I'm just going to leave that there for 2 little seconds while I show you some foundations. So mostly people have been asking us recently if I can recommend some foundations that they can use day to day. They're not too heavy, but they just still give them a little bit of coverage, because I just think at the minute people are feeling a bit washed out, and tinted moisturisers and stuff just aren't cutting it. So I prefer a bit of a heavier coverage myself personally, just because I cover my scarring. I just feel nicer when I've got a bit of a coverage. But I'll just show you some of the ones that I would normally use, that I've recommended to people. This is the Ordinary foundation. and it's called Coverage Foundation. So this is high coverage, and it's very buildable though. So I use this on younger clients, if they're, you know, bridesmaids, that type of thing, or younger kids who've got parties and stuff like that. It's just nice and soft, so it doesn't give too much of a cakey finish. This is light, medium, neutral. They've got loads of different shades in this, and again, this is really cheap as well. So if you just want something for day to day, you don't want to be spending a fortune replacing your expensive foundations while we're not allowed to go out the house, this is perfect for that. I'm not going to use that today, but I just thought I'd show you. Another cheaper alternative which I've found is lovely. This again is very buildable, so it goes on very light at first, but it's lovely and buildable. So if you want a bit more coverage, this is L'Oreal True Match. Again, this is quite illuminating as well, so you'll see when you shake the bottle up, it's got nice little sparkly bits in it. They don't come out on your skin, but they just look really nice. This is Golden Natural, which is actually, it's quite dark, so I haven't really got much tan on today, so I would usually use that if I was a bit more tanned, but it's lovely. That goes on really, really nice. I get a lot of fine lines now, and I find that doesn't sit in them. It's lovely, just light, nice foundation for during the day. If you're looking for something a bit heavier, Stay Naked is lovely. Obviously this is from Urban Decay. It's quite a light shade, that one. I tend to find neutral tones are better for me rather than pinks or yellows. That's a lovely one. It is a bit heavier. It's not as heavy as All Nighter, which is their top selling foundation, because it just literally doesn't move on your face, but that can be quite cakey. Stay Naked sort of in the middle, so it does give a nice thick coverage, and you can build that to be heavier if you want to. That's also a nice alternative. The one I'm going to use today though is Sheer Glow. For me personally, I don't find this lasts as well on my skin. I don't know if it's just the type of skin I have. I use this on a lot of clients and it's fab, like it just goes on lovely, goes on like a dream. This shade is Punjab, which is a medium shade, but it lifts your skin up really nicely. This, I just find that for a night out, or if I was going to a wedding or something like that, this just doesn't stay on my face as well as I would like to. But everyone's different. But I'm going to put this on today just to show you this look, and see what you think. So before I apply my foundation, I'm just going to blend this in. It's just had time to sit there for a few minutes, just a tiny bit. You can just softly blend this in, because I'm going to put concealer over the top of it anyway. I just feel like that just, before I even apply my foundation, that just takes away the harshness of me dark circles. It's still quite light, but obviously we're going to go over the top of that, so right. So I'm just going to apply a bit of foundation to the back of my hand. You really don't need too much of this at all. A lot goes along, a little bit goes a long way. So I'm going to apply it with a fluffy foundation brush like this. This is actually part of a set that I got from Argos, believe it or not. I think I got like 30 brushes for £35, something like that, but I use probably like 80% of the brushes. They're all really nice quality brushes, and they clean up lovely as well. So I'm just going to take the foundation, not all of it, just tap it around my hand, start on my chin. Again, because it's quite a natural look, I don't want it to be too heavy looking. Just take it right down at my neck. As I say, I haven't got a lot of tan on today, so I would normally put tan on my neck just to give me foundation a bit more to blend into. Obviously, because I haven't been anywhere, I haven't bothered. Just take a bit more. I usually take it right up to my eyes, and then you don't have to put quite as much concealer on. Obviously, if I was doing a heavy nighttime look, I would normally do a lot of baking under the eyes and use a lot more concealer, but I'm finding with my skin now, because it's older, I've got more lines, I can't really get away with that as much. So I just take my foundation up as high as I can, really, and then it just means I haven't got to put as much concealer on. Just take it right up to your hairline, just be careful because obviously my hair's fairish. You could use a smaller brush if you wanted to get a bit closer to your hairline. Happy with that? Just make sure it's all nice and blended on your neck as well. You can just sort of do light circular motions with this, or just do a bit of dabbing as well, just to soften it. So once my foundation's all blended in, then I would usually go in with some concealer under my eyes. Depending what I'm doing, Revolution one is quite thick and heavier, so if I'm going out I can usually get away with that one, but if not, then I usually just tend to stick to my NARS creamy concealers. I've got vanilla and custard here. I'm going to use vanilla today, just because I've got a slightly lighter foundation on, but custard is a slightly darker shade, which is nice for when you've got slightly darker foundation on, or I tend to find that's more of a medium shade. So if you've got different undertones, then that is quite nice, because vanilla can look quite light and obvious. But I'm going to put a bit of vanilla on today, so I'm just going to apply that. I'm going to leave that set under my eyes while I do my cheek colour. So you can see I've just applied it just literally under my eyes here, down the side of my nose. And then I've applied a little bit to the forehead, under my nose and on my chin. I've not taken it all the way around, just because, as I say, I get a lot of fine lines around here, and I find that my concealer can cling to it, which is, I get asked that from a lot of people, is how can I stop that from happening. I'll show you when I blend this in, but if you just sort of apply the main bulk of foundation to this part of your face here, then obviously you're not going to be putting as much product around the eyes where you would normally get your crow's feet and your lines. So I'm just going to leave that to sit there for a minute. See, that's where I want as much highlight and definition as possible. What I tend to do is, instead of using a blush contour, I just put a little bit of this on. It's Infallible More Than Concealer by L'Oreal. This is shade Toffee. So I'm just going to apply a bit of this to the back of my hand. This is just going to sort of, I have quite a flat face with not very high cheekbones, unfortunately. So I just apply a little bit of this into the sockets of my cheeks, just to give us a little bit of definition. And then it just means that I've got a little bit of definition in my face, and it doesn't look quite as flat. So I'm just going to apply this with an Olivia Hale contouring brush. Just a little cheeky one. But it's really fluffy, it's lovely. So I've just dabbed a bit of toffee onto my hand there, so I'm just going to take that onto the brush. Dab that around, and I'm going to start right in the socket of my cheek here, and just take circular motions, running right down, just towards my lip. You don't need a lot on. You can see that's just gives us a subtle definition of my cheek. You don't need a lot of this at all. You can get loads of different shades in it. So if you've got tan on, or if you're putting a darker foundation on or anything, then you can buy the, as well as Toffee, I've got Honey, which is a lovely shade for more tan skin. So just take that down from your hairline. Don't get it. It's just a nice natural definition without being too obvious. See that there? Okie dokes. So I'm now going to blend in my concealer, so on my chin. So this is a really, really wet sponge. I've obviously run it out, but it needs to be lovely and squidgy. This is a Real Techniques one. I'm just going to blend it all out. My head. And now we're going to do my eyes. So once I've done that, I'm just going to use the sponge, obviously, just to take it underneath my eye. There's no extra product on there or anything, but it's just going to smooth out any lines and just sort of continue the concealer along without having to apply any further product, so it doesn't look too heavy. Just at the part where I would normally get me lines. Just going to do that on that eye. Just going to put a bit excess on the sponge down the middle of my nose. So I'm quite happy with that, but I always find I need to do a little bit of baking under my eyes, just i.e. putting some setting powder on and just leaving it there just for a little bit. Just because obviously, like, as I say, I've got the dark circles under my eyes. I feel like a little bit of setting powder does help it. Some people prefer not to use that because they feel like it goes a bit cakey, but I think if you're going to put any concealer under your eyes, you do need to set it, otherwise it can just sit in your lines. So I'm going to put some powder on, just leave it while I'm applying the rest of my face powder. So this is the Laura Mercier translucent powder. So I'm just going to apply a little bit of this under my eyes with a sponge, and I'll just leave that on while I'm doing the rest of my face. Just going to take it down the side of my nose a little bit just to set where I've used the concealer. Tiny bit on my forehead. There. So I don't leave that on too long, because I don't want it to look too white, because I'm not going to be putting too much of a heavy face on and obviously a heavy eye, so I don't want it to look daft. So I'm just going to leave that to sit there just while I put the rest of my powder on. So I'm going to use the Fenty Beauty banana powder all over my face. Depending on what skin tone you've got, this can be used really nicely under your eyes. It's too dark for me under my eyes, it's too sort of orangey, but I find it's a lovely shade for the rest of my face. And again, a little bit goes a long way. So I'm just going to take a small brush. Again, it's from the same set, the Argos set that I got. It's a lovely powder brush, and it just puts it exactly where you want it to be, rather than dusting the whole face with powder. So I'm just going to take that across my face just to set my foundation. So you don't need much on it all. It does give you a bit of coverage, but a little bit of colour, but not too much. Before I apply my bronzer, I'm just going to go and wipe the excess off of the powder under my eyes, just so it doesn't go too white. I'm just using the Real Techniques brush for that. I think this is a finishing brush. So I'm just going to go under my eyes and just wipe off any excess that I might have. So it still finishes it off, but it just doesn't leave that white look. So I'm now going to put a bit of bronzer on. This is the Peaches and Cream PC04 brush. I think this is a large face brush, it's called. I've got a lot of their brushes, the Fab, and they're quite inexpensive as well. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to put a bit of bronzer all over. This is the Revolution bronzer in shade Cool. I'm just going to apply that all over my face, just lightly. Just avoid the eye areas. Obviously, you just set them with your powder. Get down on your neck just to blend your foundation in. Gives a little bit of a glow without changing the look of the foundation too much. I'm going to set me cream contour a little bit with just a bit of contour powder, just to obviously give it the finish. This is the Revolution Ultra Contour palette, which I use quite a lot. There's a few nice shades in there. These are sort of your setting powders for under your eyes. It's got some highlighters in there. And then it's got your sort of darker contour colours as well, so it's quite a nice go-to palette. I'm just going to use this one here. It's a similar colour to me bronzer. I'm just going to sort of go back over the top of where I went with the creamy concealer. So I'm now going to apply some blush. This is the NARS in shade Orgasm. It's a cult favourite. So I'm just going to dab a little bit of this onto me, just onto the apples of my cheeks, just not take it too high up. It's a nice subtle colour, this. Got a tiny bit of shimmer to it, but not too much, just more pinky. It's giving us a little bit of colour, but it's nice and subtle. So that's my face pretty much done. I wouldn't normally wear a lot of highlight during the day, just a tiny bit. I don't know, I just prefer it for a night out rather than a daytime look, but I'm just going to put a little bit of this on just to give it a bit of show. This is High Glass from NYX, and this is my Zoeva brush, Lux Face Focus. It's just nice for putting a bit on your cheeks. So I'm just going to take a little bit there. And brush, just literally apply it just to where the light would catch your cheeky area. Tiny bit. Just going to put a bit in the center of my nose. So this is just my normal day-to-day look I would have. Foundation wise, that's how I would always apply my foundation. I would just probably use a different product if I wanted it a little bit heavier. So this is the finished look. Really, I'm going to put a little bit of Brow Control Freak gel on my brows, just because I've obviously gone over them with foundation and powder. I like my brows to be quite fluffy, and I've got no choice at the minute because they're totally going in. So I'm just going to brush them up.